News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. Well, in Telangana, it's a saga of postscript with twists and Pushpa 2 premiere after the Pushpa 2 premiere theatre Stampede. Now, the Hyderabad police sent Allu Arjun a notice summoning him for questioning earlier in the day over this entire Stampede episode. The actor left his home at about 10:35 a.m. this morning and he was questioned for nearly 4 hours by the cops. He arrived at the police station at 11 a.m. and left around 2:45 p.m. for his residence. The cops are likely to take the actor to Sandhya Theatre next, where the stampede had occurred. Now, sources have told CNN News 18 that the police asked him questions on whether he was informed of Revati's death, the lady who died there. Did they tell him about the denial of police permit? And what was the basis of the claims that he made at the press briefing on Saturday? Telangana police has released some more CCTV pictures to target the actor and question his whole role. In footage one from the theatre, it shows complete chaos at the theatre and huge crowd that is seen barging inside the theatre despite security staff trying to direct people away from entering the premises in a proper manner. And also in CCTV 2, a man is seen with a wooden stick trying to stop the crowd from barging inside but is being jostled and pushed by people themselves. Now, this man is seen in the CCTV, as the police claimed, is allegedly the bouncer. But whether he was Allu Arjun's bouncer or part of the security staff of the theatre is yet to be confirmed. Meanwhile, Allu Arjun's bouncer Anthony has been arrested because the cops have identified him as the one who organized all the other bouncers and security staff at the Sandhya Theatre. That is Allu Arjun's security detail. Now, the Congress government has gone all out against the actor Allu Arjun. Telangana Congress MLC Teenmar Malana has filed a case against the actor and said that there was an attempt to deliberately insult cops in the movie Pushpa 2 The Rise. Now, he has urged the director to remove such scenes. Congress Minister Sitaka has questioned the award for Pushpa film and went on to say that films that insult the cops have been awarded. Congress MLA Bhupati Reddy went on to say that Allu Arjun was just an actor and not a superstar and that he would boycott his films if he continued to speak against the Chief Minister. Let's go across to our guests. But there's one question when we see all these pictures, ladies and gentlemen, and to our viewers, think about this. As Dr. Anand Ranganathan, T.R. Srinivas and Brajesh Kalapa join us this evening. Namaste and Jai Hind. It's a 3-word question or 4-word question. Where are the cops? If there is a build-up that's been happening even before Allu Arjun got there, there is an intimation that's come from the Sandhya Theatre owners and that letter is out in public domain. Where are the cops? The ACP and DCP are on record trying to say that they went inside to tell Allu Arjun there is a huge build-up outside. But again, where are the cops? What was the Telangana police doing when they realized that there is an unforeseen, unlikely and unplanned build-up outside a theatre premises and there could be a situation that could go out of control? Can the Telangana police totally absolve itself of any responsibility? If someone is inside a theatre watching a movie, should that person be blamed for a crowd build-up outside? Dr. Ranganathan, where do you stand on this?
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Look, there is a phrase that is often used, but it's used in such a cliched terms that we've actually forgotten one half of it. We remember only the first half. Law and order. The police is there to maintain law and order. So I ask again, without casting doubt, because the investigation is still to be completely conducted and finished, where was the order? Is it not the job of the police to maintain order, especially when the theatre owners have written that, look, we anticipate large crowds, obviously, because this matinee idol is coming and the film is going to be released. And by all means, if you look at the success of this film, it augurs that the crowds would have been absolutely massive. In fact, we're lucky to see the crowd that we did. They could have been 3 or 4 times as much. The tragedy could have been that many fold higher. Tragically, one life was lost, but we have seen this all before, Anand. There have been dozens who've been lost. I mean, their lives have been lost because of the lackadaisical attitude of the police. So, we remember the law, and of course, the police is acting according to the law, no doubt about it. But where is the order? The order isn't there. When you have the bouncers taking care of the order, something is wrong because the police are absent. So, point number one, the police were absent, which itself points to an investigation being carried out by a neutral agency, not by the police themselves. Number two, this also has to be said, and the justice system has to wake up because there are 11 lakh cases pending. There are 5,000 under trials right now in Telangana jails. 71% of all Indian prisoners are under trials. Here is an actor who's a common citizen like me, Brajesh ji, BJP spokesperson, you and me, Anand, who is arrested, whose case is heard the same day and who gets the bail the same day. So this is not in any way to say that, look, Mr. Allu Arjun is being treated harshly because, as I said, I mean, I gave you the data there, and data is really stark. But the fact also remains that the blame has to be apportioned, and the blame has to be taken by the Telangana police. And you would have noticed, I could have easily talked about past antecedents of Congress governments, how they have, for want of a better word, blackmailed actresses and matinee idols going, as far back as Jawaharlal Nehru and Dilip Kumar in Ganga Jamna when it was blocked. I'm not talking about that at all. I want to keep this totally apolitical because this is a matter of law and order. Law is present, order is missing.
Many are actually saying that the people who vandalized, threw stones at Allu Arjun's house after the first release of the video by the cops actually got bail faster than Allu Arjun himself, perhaps the system ensured that he spends at least one night in the lockup. Now, who's trying to teach whom a lesson here, Brajesh Kalapa? What's happening here? Has this now become an ego fight? Is there any merit in the argument that perhaps the Chief Minister himself is trying to cobble up some sympathy and trying to establish himself as a people's leader by going after a star? How is it that no heads have rolled with respect to the police bandobast and the cops there themselves? Would you not say
Anand,
that there should...
my
my final question, would you or would you not say that if there is an unprecedented build-up, the cops should have been the first and fastest to react, ensure that they disperse the crowd, rather than wait for 2.5 hours and say, tell an actor, you please go, otherwise the crowds won't go?
See, Anand, I don't know if you're aware, and I don't know if Dr. Ranganathan is aware, that there is a rejection by the police, and that rejection has been endorsed by the theatre authorities, and that letter is on record. It didn't, of course, come during the court proceedings, but I would advise, as far as Mr. Allu Arjun is concerned, that he has been granted bail, he has been enlarged on bail, and if that letter had come, perhaps he would not have been enlarged on bail. So my advice would be to not look a gift horse in the mouth, and actually just since he has taken the benefit of it, and the fact that he has been enlarged on bail, I think the first thing is that there has to be a system in place, right? And first is that as far as actors are concerned, they're extremely popular people. And if the proper regimen is not followed, so I think the first thing is to ensure that a proper regimen is followed. That is that there should be a written permission. If a large crowd is going to be there, there has to be a written permission. To the best of my information, yes, there is a letter from the theatre, but there is no written permission from the government, right? One. Two, in fact, there is a rejection, which the theatre has endorsed, right? So these are the two facts that we are all aware of. Now, point is that one life has been lost and another child is now battling for his life, right? So the basic premise in any case is, be you ever so high, the law is above you. And I find it very difficult, to accept that Mr. Arjun is going through this. It's a sad statement, but still there has to be a chilling effect at some point in time in order to ensure that the film industry gets its act together. And if see, the first thing is that if you're going to attribute motives, one, you're going to attribute a motive to the Chief Minister, but the chief minister on his own cannot get the police system to act in terms of his wishes, even if
the chief minister is also the home minister of the state.
Axe to grind against.
Please correct
Mr.
me if
Allu
I'm
Arjun.
wrong. The chief minister is also the home minister of the state, Brajeshi. The other part is Brajeshi. Please tell me this. Is there a single message, tweet, post or call from Allu Arjun asking fans to gather because he is going to watch a movie?
No, see,
Please,
the fact is that
I am asking you. No, I am asking you. Is there a single public messaging, broadcast, etc., publicizing Allu Arjun that he is going to watch a movie at Sandhya Theatre by Allu Arjun himself or by his PR team?
This question is wholly irrelevant according to me.
It is. It is very seriously relevant, sir. It is very relevant. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm asking you, sir.
It doesn't make the slightest difference.
Please hear me out.
Actors have been.
No, there is a reason why I'm asking you this, sir.
For years and years, that there has never been a
reason I'm asking. There is a reason.
To say that I'm going to be present at such location,
there is
but
a reason.
Still a large number of fans,
Please
converge at
allow
any
me.
point in the country.
Please allow me.
Not just in Andhra Pradesh.
Please allow me to complete my question. Please allow me to complete my question. Please allow me to complete my question.
I'm not going to come in the way of it.
No. My simple point is Allu Arjun and so many other stars go to the airport, go to places, and they are not mobbed every time. It's not the first time he has gone to a theatre. Point is, sir, had he said, I am going to watch a movie, come join me, then somewhere he could have been held responsible for trying to mobilize a crowd or trying to attract attention. This was unplanned. This was unplanned. This was unprovoked. This was unprecedented. But the people who had wind of it, who had an inkling that this could happen, were the cops, because they said, no, we will not give you permission. But if the build-up has happened organically, it has happened on its own, isn't there some responsibility, T.R. Srinivas, of the cops to ensure that A, they don't allow this build-up, B, if there is a build-up, they disperse the crowd, and C, most importantly, there is enough and more bandobast. Why is it that we don't see cops in all of this footage that the cops have claimed that they have collected footage from 10,000 cameras. In those 10,000 cameras, could they find 50 cops?
Thank you, Anand, for this very important debate, and hi to my fellow panelists. This entire incident is really unfortunate. What happened, and a life is lost, and we all are mourning, and we all are really not happy. It has left a very bad taste. Even Allu Arjun has really felt really bad, and he's working towards some corrective actions for himself. But the point is, the buck stops at the CM's door for the law and order, as you rightly said, since he is the Home Minister. Because all the film actors, they are demigods in South India, and they carry huge fan following. Even if I don't announce also, there will be huge bombing, because this is the first show of Pushpa, and that is a premiere show. And since the cops also know that Sandhya Theatre have single exit and single entry. It's a place at RTC Crossroads, and it is a very crowded place. Some preempt action, some bandobast should have been there, even if I'm saying if the letter which they say so-called rejected, which appeared after later, they should have been done, because the crowds will go berserk in seeing their favorite actor, and certainly this should happen. But having said this, there are the statements which are now flying left and right, and the attack on his house, his family members, and the things are getting established. I sometimes wonder, is somebody trying to say, यहाँ के पुष्पराज हम ही हैं, हमसे पहले देखो, हमसे बड़ा कोई नहीं है? Is this what is being spread down the message? Because there is a chronology. You started with Hydra. You scared the film industry by bringing down the structure of Nagarjuna and convention, and it is going to now you're attacking Allu Arjun. Let the law take its own course. You could have done it very silently and very maturely. You're scaring away the Tollywood industry that they'll certainly take a flight to Andhra Pradesh. Well, because painstakingly over the years, over the decade, a lot of infrastructure has been developed for the film industry here. What will happen now? What will happen to the jobs if they go off? Now you could have been giving little sensible statement if you're in the governance. Now this, if you see in the other angle, this is a very perfect, picture perfect moment for the Honorable CM to deflect attention on the 6 guarantees what he is giving. Now everything, first the fear of Hydra is still going on. Now fear of Tollywood, fear for the Tollywood, these actions. Everything in the public perception and the mind is getting diverted to other sections rather than the governance, the real governance.
So you are actually attaching far greater motive than the occurrence of an incident or otherwise. The other point is that if there was going to be a threat, and if there going to be a stampede like situation and a crowd that we saw, the kind of crowd built up, you think, Dr. Ranganathan, that an Allu Arjun would have actually come there with his family? He was there with his father-in-law, he was there with his children, he was there with his wife. They had come in another car. 2 cars had entered that place. So the crowd allows the car to enter. That time it is all right. They also make an emergency exit after whatever 2 hours and full length of the movie, and the cops are upset that he sat there to watch a whole movie. But him sitting inside the theatre is a security threat and an issue. But the crowd outside and controlling that and dispersing that crowd is not the duty of the cops.
And not only that, just a slight correction, in the letter that was written by the theatre owners to the Assistant Commissioner of Police, I have it, and I have read it. Slight correction, they do mention, although they do not name Allu Arjun, they say, and I quote, the hero, heroine and VIPs and production unit of the film are coming to see the movie. We request you to arrange and provide police bandobast at Sandhya 70mm RTC X Roads, Hyderabad, in connection with the release of Pushpa 2. On 4th December. So, because there will be a heavy fans crowd, this is what they say, quote unquote. So, the theatre owners clearly asked for police permission, police order to be maintained there. They clearly said that the hero, heroine would be coming. They clearly anticipated a large fan crowd. Now, the police did not act. So, I think the blame has to be on both the Sandhya Theatre. Why did they go ahead? If I'm just going by what Brajesh ji is saying, that the police did not give permission, although it seems very likely that the theatre owners would stop and not go ahead if the police permission was not given, because normally these things are taken very seriously. So unless Brajesh ji has a document that we are not privy to, I would say that the police possibly just nodded and just, did not act on this at all.
No, the other thing is, Anand Ranganathan, from your own wisdom, and T.R. Srinivas, your own wisdom, please tell me, who would you first want to arrest? Accused number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You want to arrest them, right? In a particular case. Brajesh Kalapa has more legal acumen than all 3 of us put together. He's a practicing lawyer. Both in the High Court and the Supreme Court he plies his wares. So clearly the cops should go after accused number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, Brajesh Kalapa. Allu Arjun is accused number 11. He was one of the first to be dragged out of his house, taken to the court and put inside a lockup. And made to stay there overnight. And he is the only person who's being talked. He is accused number 11 as per the cops.
Anand, any soft regime would do exactly like you said. Any soft regime would do exactly like you said and take on some, people who are very incidental to the whole issue, and then put them in. And a lot of people do that. For instance, even in Morbi, when the bridge collapsed, and
let's not deflect. Let's come back to here. So, are you saying that Revant Reddy-led government is a soft regime? Are you saying that they are deliberately targeting Allu Arjun?
Then I think your understanding is wholly wrong. I think your viewers would understand
please correct me.
I am saying that a soft regime would do that like it happened in the Morbi, the bridge collapse, where some incidental people were taken in and the main accused was let free. That doesn't happen. See, if a strong regime takes the biggest and takes the bull by the horns, and I would give due credit to the Chief Minister, I'd say that, look, if you're going to set the whole state in order, it's extremely unpopular to take on the biggest star in the country. And
Yeah, but he is accused number 11 in the case, sir. He is not accused number 1. The cops who have the cops
number 1, 2, and 3 and all that.
No, the main
Ultimately,
no in the
whole menace.
you are a lawyer. You are a lawyer, Brijesh Kalappa. I know you have faced with situations where you have to argue the inarguable or defend the indefensible. But please, I'm sure even for your own wisdom, you would say the cops have themselves named him as accused number 11. The cops have named him as accused number 11, and the cops have gone only after him. What about accused number 1, accused number 2, accused number 3? Ask them if there was dereliction of their own duty and if they did something wrong or if they triggered a stampede. You can ask them. Allu Arjun is accused number 11 and the DCP, SHO is crying and doing all sorts of, they are showing that they can also perform. Is that what they are trying to do? What is it that then the motive is? Then does the argument not stick that someone has decided I need to teach this guy and via him the entire Telugu film fraternity a lesson?
Exactly.
Fire कौन है मेरे को दिखाना है. Is that what he is trying to do?
Can I answer? May I answer?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so Anand, see, first thing is I don't represent the Telangana government. I never met the chief minister. I don't represent the Congress party, right? I'm speaking as a citizen, right? And I in the first place, when this all actually began, I was totally on Allu Arjun's side, right? So these are the basic facts. But when you see that how difficult it is to administer a state when such incidents occur, I feel that I should put my lot behind the government of Karnataka, who has taken an extremely unpopular stand.
Government of Telangana. Yeah.
If one movie has earned 1,000 crore in just a matter of days, it's extremely unpopular what the chief minister is doing. But I salute him for it, because not many people have the guts to do it.
Sir, he is the home minister of the state. If he does not back his own police, the cops will also, he is also put in a position. My point is, I don't think anybody realized that it's going to take a turn like this. And the fact is that did the Home Minister T.R. Srinivas of the state of Telangana think that he would be able to ride public sentiment on this one? And has that boomeranged? The other thing is this a way to try and gloss over the inefficiencies and the inactivity of the police that comes under the Home Minister of the state?
Anand, I would take a bigger picture here in inaction and inactivity, not of police department and of the entire the government. What is happening since last 1 year? We have seen the progress, and we have seen the crime rate also, which has appeared in the various newspapers. 41% has gone up. Now, the common man, what is he talking is about is whether this has gone into a personal level, because the way on the floor of the house, whether these statements were really necessary to make, or whether they were out of the political context, whether he wanted to tell the Tollywood that yes, this is what I am, you have to toe my line, otherwise things are not going to be rosy.
Correct.
This is what is going on. This is what everybody has interpreted. Nobody in the era of information technology and everybody analysis going on left and right, people are wise enough to deduce and analyze what exactly is happening.
Mr. Revant Reddy is a capable leader. He may have his aspirations, and he may have this in his heart that he wants to be taken seriously. But respect cannot be caught by the dint of a danda. It has to be earned. And it is your achara, that means how you present yourself and project yourself, that also leads to one getting respect or earning the respect. This fact is the words that he used and the way he came out as Chief Minister and Home Minister also point in a different direction. But most importantly, that someone who is accused number 11 in an incident that has happened is the one who's been prima facie targeted like this, whereas the 1 to 6 nobody is talked about and nobody is focusing on. It's really perhaps this one's backfired for Mr. Revant Reddy. We're going to take a very short pause from this debate, but before we take a break, we've got some disturbing news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. An army vehicle is plunged into a gorge near the line of control in the Balnoi area in the Mendhar sector. There are injuries that are reported and many Jawans are critically injured. We are getting these pictures, visuals. We'll try and go across to Tejinder Sodhi or Aakash for more details in a bit. But we are given to understand that there were nearly 50 people in this. The pictures have just come in, more visuals, more pictures are coming through. And we're given to, there you go. There were at least 50 people. It's been a major road accident, and there are casualties that are feared, though we are waiting for official confirmation. Aakash joins us with more details. Yes, Aakash.
So Anand, this incident has happened near Mendhar sector of Punch area, where we are learning that this army truck, just fall into this gorge, and in fact, many army personnel were there on board that particular truck. In fact, we are not getting any sort of official confirmation on the number of casualties as of now, but definitely, since there were many personnel on board, so we are fearing a number of casualties, but we are also waiting for an official confirmation as to what has happened, under what circumstances, and how many casualties are there.
Well, thank you for that update. We'll go back to this story the moment we get to know more. Pray for the safety and the lives of all those who were part of this accident. See you after a short break.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन कि मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के ज़रिए जो गाँव आगे हैं, वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के ज़रिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है, उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Punch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए, और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT-NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईज़िली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना, मतलब हम लाते 4 ग्राम 5 ग्राम जो केजीज में लाते हैं। कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जब तक उनको वहाँ पे मतलब किसी का सपोर्ट नहीं होगा, किसी के साथ बातचीत नहीं।
Days after the Christmas market attack in Germany, resulting in 5 fatalities and more than 200 casualties, the lens is now on the West's faulty immigration policy that has led to giving refuge to extremists, this time biting them in their own backyard. European nations are paying a heavy price for sheltering terrorists. Germany, for example, the Christmas attacker there was the most wanted in Saudi. The Saudis had actually warned Germany and asking the Germans to extradite this attacker more than 7 years ago. All European nations are actually sheltering quite a lot of most wanted from in other countries. Bharat's most wanted accused have similar stories in other European nations, and including beyond transatlantic this malaise extends to. Christmas market attacker was the most wanted in Saudi, like K terrorists Gurpatwant Panun or Hardeep Nijjar or Goldi Barar and so many others, plus other Khalistani entities who are operating in Bharat while living and finding citizenship and havens in foreign soil. According to sources, Germany Christmas market attacker Taleb Abdul Mohsen had left Saudi Arabia after being accused of rape and was implicated in serious crimes, and deportation had been denied, citing human rights concerns. Now, sources say the attacker Abdul Mohsen reinvented himself as a dissident, publicly declared himself an atheist and an ex-Muslim. The idea behind this was securing full asylum protection in Germany by portraying himself as a victim of persecution rather than a fugitive. He wrote threat messages against the German government, which the government ignored in the name of freedom of expression. He claimed that Germany was conspiring against him and against all Saudi asylum seekers. Protests by Germans against the German government to deport all immigrants have been witnessed. Almost 20,000 people protested against the government in Germany and demanded deportation of the immigrants urgently. The German far-right group also led protests, and the group says that the criminal had nothing to do with AFD, and AFD had no contact with the attacker. Pandit Satish K. Sharma with us, Sushant Sareen with us, Anand Ranganathan with us. Namaste, gentlemen. Many would say ye to hona hi tha. Many others would think that exactly the same position that Bharat finds itself today, the Saudis are finding themselves, and the West now today, Europe and transatlantic similar situations. Those claiming persecution are not necessarily the persecuted. They are actually illegals, wanted, criminals. Pandit Satish Sharma.
Pranam ji, namaskar, Jai Shri Ram to you. Yes, it's a tragedy on a scale which Germany has not seen for a long time. And I think most of the German population is struggling to try and understand it. Maybe we can possibly contribute a small perspective. At a time of tragedy, it's often the first casualty is our capacity to judge it and understand what's going on. I would say that the first thing we have to realize is that, putting all of the religious and the political dimensions to one side, what has happened is that a Christmas festival has been targeted. This is clearly an attack on the culture and on the national sense of well-being of a nation. That makes it a terrorist attack. The second thing is that this is clearly religiously motivated, and we can see that the person who attacked this community is identified by his actions. He was clearly not a Christian. He was clearly not a supporter of the German citizenry. And so the first thing I think the response from the authorities should be is to make their citizens feel safe. And there is a huge, shall we say, a negligence of this responsibility from the governments and the service agencies who protect these civilizations and citizens across Europe. This is beginning to be felt in the United Kingdom as well. Here in the United Kingdom, there is a very tangible and real sentiment beginning to coalesce, which says that the government of the United Kingdom, most of the traditional governments in Europe are failing in those two responsibilities. One, to actually protect the citizenry, and secondly, is that justice also has an element which is punitive. It is a deterrent aspect which is intended to prevent. It's intended to send the message that if you engage in such activities, the response will be significant, substantial, and so substantial that another person would think twice before perpetrating it. There's been a complete abandoning of that responsibility. And I think until we see that in evidence, we are going to see the continuous decline in the citizens of Europe actually trusting their own governments and their own security agencies. That's the biggest casualty at this moment in time.
Dr. Ranganathan?
Anand, I want to go a little bit deeper than what Panditji has, with your permission. Look, anyone who cherishes liberty, equality and fraternity stands today with Germany. My heart goes out. But I have to say this, we are reinventing the wheel here. Islamist extremists have perpetrated 31,221 terror attacks and killed 146,811 people worldwide since 9/11, said the reputed German newspaper Welt in 2019 in its incredible report, 18 Years of Terror. That was 5 years ago. And that's an average of 5 terror attacks every single day for 18 years. Look, when will we understand that there is no such thing as radical Islam? Anand, if I read and follow chapter and verse of the book Biochemistry by Leninger or Steyer, do I become a radical scientist? The essence of Azan is, quote, no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah 4062. This is amplified through the loudspeaker 5 times a day, whole year round. Al-Kufr Milatun Wahida. Let non-believers take disbelievers as allies except when taking precaution against them in Prudence 328. Do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert and kill them if they refuse 489. Look, a practicing Muslim who believes in the Sharia and every single word that there is in the Holy Quran is a good Muslim. While a Muslim who drinks, fornicates, indulges in idle talk or music, supports Muslim women who reject the burqa, draws a portrait of whosoever he wishes to, marries a non-Muslim, is homosexual, gives equal share of inheritance to females, and is fine with all his fellow Muslims being all of the above, is a bad Muslim. And Allah has defined just who is a good Muslim, 33, 36, 3, 132, 8, 2, 49, 15. And every single time, Anand, the apologists cringe at violence or retribution being ordered. They bring out the excuse of context or interpretation in order to hide the true meaning. In fact, I would say it is the Muslims who are Islamophobic. That is, they fear Islam. They fear to bring out the orders and the commandments of their holy book in its entirety on Jews, Christians, polytheists, homosexuality, apostasy, heresy, dress code, wife beating, blasphemy, because they fear being called illiberal and hypocrites. So they end up condemning and branding as radicals the Muslims who are faithfully following the fundamentals. They snare the fundamentalists but spare the fundamentals. And every serious Islamic scholar has admitted to this. And every single time the apologists cringe at violence, they do the same thing. The disbelievers of that time, polytheists, Christians, Jews, homosexuals, apostates, were seen to possess certain characteristics, and it is these characteristics that are condemned and ordered to be punished in the holy book. The orders, Anand, are not for the non-believers of that time. They are for anyone who possesses their characteristics for all time. It is specious to claim orders that apply to non-believers are meant for non-believers of that time, but orders that apply to believers are meant for believers of today's time. Just 10 seconds, Rahul, Anand. I spoke for tolerance, you cut off my tongue. I wrote against hatred, you cut off my hand. I walked towards liberty, you cut off my legs. I heard the dissent, you cut off my ears. I bowed to justice, you cut off my head. Of what was left of me, you befriended.
Sushant Sareen, will there be a change in attitude?
No, I don't think so. Look, one, I'll join issue with my dear friend Anand Ranganathan. I'm not denying anything he has said. My only point is that what he says is true for Islam is true for other Abrahamic faiths as well. If you read their texts, they are perhaps in some ways even more intolerant than the Quran is, right? The problem or the issue, however, is that many of those faiths have reformed or have moved away, and they do not have Sartan Sajuda in the way it operates in the case of Islam. So there is a reformation that has taken place in other faiths. It hasn't in Islam because the reactionaries in Islam prevent any kind of reformation taking place. So if you go by the text, then I think there's very little to choose between any of the Abrahamic faiths. That is one part of it. The second part of it is the real is today's problem. In fact, it's not today's problem; it's the problem of the century now. Of this rising trend towards violence and jihadism, which is sweeping through the West, which is sweeping throughout the world actually. And problem out there is twofold. One is that many of these societies are diffident, they are scared, they are not politically confident, they are ideologically confused over the phenomena they are up against. We thought or we hoped that maybe that clarity would come post 9/11 when suddenly, the penny dropped, but the penny dropped and the penny came out because you had the leftists and the so-called liberals, I don't even consider them liberals anymore, come out of the woodwork. And one example we've seen with the kind of newspaper and headlines which came out after this attack in Germany, as though it was a self-driven car which drove into a crowd of people and mowed down people, right? Nobody was willing to say what exactly happened because you wanted to cover it up. And as the CEO of the National Public Radio in the United States says, truth is a distraction. Now, if truth is a distraction, then you can't speak it, right? You have to resort to lies, which is what the so-called liberal media resorts to all the time. So one is that problem. So you don't have the ideological clarity of the fight you are up against. Now you can do the kinetics of this war, right?
Correct.
You can do the decapitation exercises, you can carry out military operations, you can do all of that. But how do you get rid of that mental virus which is affecting a lot of people and which is spreading, which is not receding, it's actually spreading.
Right.
And I don't think anybody has really applied their mind, anybody has really invested the kind of resources which need to be invested to combat that. What you have is the kind of nonsensical virtue signaling of counter-violent extremism which some United US universities and European universities have floated, which means nothing to no one, right? There's absolutely nothing to show for the billions of dollars that they have received and they have spent, perhaps on junkets, perhaps on conferences, which have yielded nothing. No, not a single impact they have made. So when you have this level of ideological confusion on one side and complete ideological clarity on the other side, you know which side this dice is going to roll. That is the reality.
Well, gents, I have to interrupt this. We've got an update closer home at the LOC. There's been an accident. An army vehicle has plunged into a gorge, and we're getting some disturbing news. We're given to understand that 5 deaths are confirmed. 5 bodies so far have been recovered. This is in the Balnoi area near the line of control in the Mindhar sector. 5 deaths are reported. There were nearly 50 people in this army vehicle, we are given to understand. So there could be many more casualties. Let's hope so. There isn't, but there are many more injuries too. Quite a few of them have injuries. We'll get you more details as and when we are apprised of the same. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, a super investigation by CNN News 18's Aakash Sharma and Ieshan Wani on the narco-terror in Jammu and Kashmir and how Pak proxies are pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir using women as mules. Stay with us.
Baba.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन के मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के ज़रिए जो गाँव आगे हैं वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के ज़रिए आता है कुछ। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए, और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईज़िली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना, मतलब हम लाते 4 ग्राम 5 ग्राम जो केजीज में लाते हैं। कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जब तक उनको वहाँ पे मतलब किसी का सपोर्ट नहीं होगा, किसी के साथ बातचीत नहीं होगी, इतना इजी तो है नहीं कि ये आटे का थैला तो नहीं है ना इंसान हाथ में लेके थमा के चलेगा। मेरे साथ भी ऐसे कुछ थे पुलिस के, मतलब जिनको पता था कि मैं करती हूँ और उनको पता था ये यहाँ से आती है जाती है रोज, मतलब इसको लाना होता है 50,000 का भी, 10,000 का भी, 20,000 का भी। हाँ, मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद, वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन के मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के ज़रिए जो गाँव आगे हैं वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के जरिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईजिली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना। मतलब हम लाते 4 ग्राम 5 ग्राम जो केजीज में लाते हैं। कॉमन सेंस की बात है, जब तक उनको वहाँ पे मतलब किसी का सपोर्ट नहीं होगा, किसी के साथ बातचीत नहीं होगी, इतना इजी तो है नहीं। मेरे साथ भी ऐसे कुछ थे पुलिस के, मतलब जिनको पता था कि मैं करती हूँ और उनको पता था ये यहाँ से आती है जाती है रोज, मतलब इसको लाना होता है। मतलब कभी कभार ऐसा होता था, फिर वो बोलते थे नहीं अब आप हमारे साथ एक सौदा कर लो, अगर तुम महीने में मतलब 4 लाख 5 लाख का लाती हो, चलो हमें भी 50,000 दिया करो महीने में।
While the Indian Army conducts checks at border posts, the shortage of female personnel limits thorough searches of women. Police face similar challenges, unable to search every individual crossing over, creating vulnerabilities.
It is one established fact that Pakistan is pushing narcotics in India. We have seen the drone-based deliveries. We have seen the infiltration attempts where security personnel have recovered narcotics from the terrorists. And this particular area where I'm standing as of now, I'll try to give you a sense as to what is the kind of terrain that we have in this particular area. This is one remote area in Poonch, and I'm showing you the visuals of the villages here. When we talk about areas like Rajouri, Poonch and Doda, so we have seen an increased number of cases related to narcotics. And now there is a theory that not just men but women have been employed for the illicit trade, because we have seen a number of cases where in fact women have been arrested.
Sir, Aakash Sharma.
Each shipment includes a Pakistani contact who guides these mules through the chain. Participants in the delivery process remain isolated, hindering agencies from establishing connections. This compartmentalization makes it challenging for authorities to trace the entire network. Even then, agencies like the Anti-Narcotics Task Force have got more than a few successes.
We proceed for the property attachment also. If the property is made out of the proceed of drugs, that is confiscated also. And the third mandate is awareness. We go to the different school, colleges and public gatherings, aware the public about and the Last step is, as far as the rehabilitation of the patient is concerned, we ask the public to share the name of the addicts.
Since 2023, J&K Police has seized assets worth rupees 10.36 crores in 43 cases, including houses, land and vehicles to cripple trafficking networks.
Along with terrorism, drug trafficking has emerged as one big threat, with agencies uncovering direct links between narcotics and terrorism. Despite constantly evolving tactics, law enforcement agencies are implementing strict measures against those who are involved to combat this growing menace. With cameraman Ravi Ranjan, this is Aakash Sharma from Jammu and Kashmir for CNN News 18.
Baba.
मैं यहाँ से अपनी गाड़ी में गई इस्लामाबाद। वहाँ पे जो भेजने वाले था पेडलर जो था, मैंने उसको गाड़ी की चाबी हाथ में थमा दी। मैंने वहाँ पे उससे 50 ग्राम लिए और मैंने गाड़ी उसको वहाँ पे छोड़ दी। वहाँ से मैं हीरोइन लाती थी। इवन कि मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं होगी, मतलब इतना ये इंसान को मजबूर करता है ना कि मतलब हेल्पलेस इंसान इतना हो जाता है।
मैं आपको पर्टिकुलरली तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ किसी कारणवश, बट ये है कि हाँ, महिलाओं के ज़रिए जो गाँव आगे हैं वहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं से महिलाओं के ज़रिए आता है पीछे। ड्रग्स पे जितना कंट्रोल हो सके, जितना नहीं पूरा कंप्लीटली कंट्रोल होना चाहिए।
Are women easy drug mules? Are agencies less suspecting of women peddling drugs? Mere coincidence or a conspiracy? The pattern is definitely concerning, one that our security agencies are not neglecting. CNN News 18 reported in early 2024 on Pakistan's role in pushing narcotics into Jammu and Kashmir, highlighting involvement of overground workers in recruiting for this trade.
चाहे वो बच्चे हैं, चाहे वो औरतें हैं, चाहे कैसे भी करते हैं, उनको पता है आपके कोई भी हमारा दाव पेच जो भी है, उन्होंने हम सब भी हथकंडे इस्तेमाल किए, लेकिन इंशाल्लाह वो फेल रहे। ये जो यूथ है तो इसको भी उकसाने का मसला है। कोई स्कूल से है, कोई कॉलेज से है, कोई कहीं से है, किसी को पता ही नहीं होता, सिर्फ पैसों की लालच है।
Despite visible law enforcement actions, drug syndicates continue adopting new methods. This time around, we visited areas like Rajouri, Poonch, Doga, Anantnag and Baramulla that are revealing a significant trend: increasing participation of women in the illegal narcotics trade.
मिलिटेंटों को और उनके भेजने वालों को ये मालूम है कि हिंदुस्तान से जम्मू कश्मीर को पाकिस्तान नहीं छीन सकता। इस सब के लिए यहाँ का आदमी चाहिए, और यहाँ का आदमी उनके साथ वही जा सकता है जो कहीं मजबूर होता है। मिलिटेंट हमारे लिए इतना नुकसानदेह नहीं है जितना हमारे घर का एक लड़का भी अगर इस नशे की लत में फंस गया तो वो बगैर गोली के पूरी फैमिली को मार सकता है।
महिलाएं एक आसान सा टारगेट है और वो ये काम करती हैं, मगर हमारी पुलिस और ये जो एजेंसियां हैं ये पूरी तरीके से चौकन्ना है।
Since 2023, 3,190 cases have been registered and 4,536 individuals arrested in Jammu and Kashmir's crackdown on illegal narcotics. To disrupt supply chains, authorities invoked the PIT NDPS Act, lending to 463 detention orders in 18 months. In Rajouri district alone, 27 cases have been registered and 39 arrests made in 2024, with several cases involving women.
अगर करना वाले जो है या वहाँ उस साइड वाले वो तो ईज़िली लाते हैं, लेकिन वहाँ से जो फिर दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में जो पेडलर्स लाते हैं, हम तो ठहरे छोटे मोटे करने वाले हैं, है ना। मतलब हम लाते 4 ग्राम 5 ग्राम जो केजीज में लाते हैं, कॉमन सेंस की बात।
Greenlam Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks with me, Aakash Sharma, and we are coming live to you from CNN News 18 Primetime Studio presented by Greenlam Laminates. Prime Minister Narendra Modi created history after he became the first Indian Prime Minister to visit the headquarters of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India in New Delhi yesterday. The Prime Minister took part in the Christmas celebrations hosted by the bishops at the CBCI Centre premises, and addressing the program, Prime Minister Modi said Christ teaches love, harmony and brotherhood, and he urged everyone to work towards strengthening these values in the society. But it seems Prime Minister's Sabka Saath outreach has irked some.